Hey, everybody. So this is a time if you have some questions that have come to your mind since the weekend, or you have some share, go ahead and unmute yourself or type in and fire away. Let's process it. And otherwise, we're going to jump in and maybe do a process or so.
Yeah, so any questions or shares related to last weekend's class?
No?
Not yet. So maybe we do
Okay.
practice and then.
I say it's practice time. So let's go to page 8, and we're looking at the cardiovascular system and we're looking at arrhythmias. And you know, we were talking like on Saturday night, like after the class, and we were talking about like how people were really responding to the things in the cardiovascular system. And if you think about it, a lot of times when you look at like things that people write about in holistic circles, the cardiovascular system's not a big topic, you know, and it's a little harder to treat and it's a little more, complicated and people think of it very much as just like something symptom oriented, but it has a big impact on vagal tone. It has a big impact on our sense of well-being physically, but also our sense of well-being emotionally. And it's an area that I like to target, like when I'm doing healings, like I'll try to do like just stress on the physical heart, the heart center, and, just things associated with the cardiovascular system. And it can reduce anxiety, it can reduce a little bit of panic, but it's tied to like both a physical and psychological sense of well being. Like if there's stress in the cardiovascular system, as much as you pray and meditate and, do whatever, healing stuff you do, there's always just that sense where we're lacking that sense of well-being. And so, I don't know, let's step up our game in that area. Who couldn't use a little extra boost of, I feel better about myself and about the world and, you know, And so here, treating physical things also has psychological impacts. So again, anise, camphor, anula, lemon verbena, melissa, neroli, spikenard, valerian, and then the kit for purchase is a langlite. Lemon is also listed, but I would say lemon is produces a result here, especially when there's an electrolyte imbalance, a mineral issue. But if that's what you use, you can still use that as well. I was using Neroli over the weekend to do this because sometimes, like after we do classes here, I do some of it, myself after the fact, after the class is done. And I pulled out Neroli and was doing it, and I was quite happy about it. And you could tell by the snoring that was happening. Okay, so whenever you have, notice how you feel before we get started, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of your tailbone, which is the basic chakra. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the low back, the backside of the navel. This is known as the Ming Men. Your awareness is on your liver, right hand side of your body, below your ribs. Your awareness is on the front solar plexus, the area below your ribs, on your upper abdomen. Your back solar plexus, your mid back area, below your shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your front heart, the center of your chest. And then the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Your awareness is on your throat. Your awareness is on the throat miner, the bottom part of your throat, where that little notch is between your two collarbones. Your awareness is between your eyebrows, the ajna. Your forehead, where the hairline is. And then the crown. Your awareness is on the top of your head. Your jaw's letting go. And we're going to do the 4 quadrants of the body. You're going to use the same exact oil you're using already. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, the whole left side, from the side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, all the way down to the left outer ankle. Now to the front side of your body. Whole front side, your face, your throat, your chest, abdomen, all the way down to the tops of your feet. Right side of your body, the whole right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, all the way down to your right outer ankle. And then the back side of your body, the whole back side, back of your head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. And then just be still. Let it all go. Notice how you feel, your body, your feelings, your thoughts. And how did that make you feel?
Good. I don't remember how exactly it happened. I felt last over the weekend,
Hmm.
but I think it was similar. Like I
Right.
have energy. that I'm
Right.
relaxed, I feel clear.
Right. Yeah. There's less tension in your face. Not that you had a lot before, but yeah. Let's go ahead and share, ask questions, unmute yourself, type in. Go ahead and fire away. How did you do?
Someone said clear head, calm body.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it kind of amazing? And just because you feel that way doesn't mean you have arrhythmias, but it's it's doing something to that part of the system that is shifting the nerves, the vagus nerve and how your body feels. And you're just accessing, you're just going through and systematically accessing areas of tension or stress in the body that's biological. It's not an emotional or a mental energy. But you can see when that energy shifts, all of a sudden emotionally you feel a little different. Man, mine feels like you said, I feel clear, but my mind is quiet. A lot of the chatter and repetition in the mind is just the body going bap, 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 not necessarily the mind. And so taking this kind of, it's a form of relaxation or it's a form of healing, because you are stimulating the healing process. So if you have a issue, it's treating it, but if you don't, it's prevention. You're preventing that area from going south and starting to be an issue. But yeah.
Yeah, and go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, uh, this is the first time I've actually, since that little whatever it was about 6 weeks ago, 4, 6
Oh
weeks
yeah.
ago now,
Yeah, yeah.
that I've been kind of back to oils again. So this is very, very cool, very soothing to
Yeah. How
come
did that
back.
treat you? How did that treat you?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I had a valerian is what was
Oh,
close
nice.
by.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very soothing.
Hmm.
Very soothing, especially after the two meditations we just had. It's just
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, super,
Yeah.
super.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite awake when I first started the class here, or this session as a study group. But I wanted to ask too. So you were saying about the body where emotions, or excuse me, the like anxiety could, or
Yeah. Oh yeah.
things could be in the body. Is that like in like the pancreas area? Or
It could be like the tension could be anywhere. But
yeah.
like as you go through, because the cardiovascular system will hold stress or tension, the digestive system, the respiratory system, each system kind of has its impact. But when you look at the cardiovascular system,
Mhm.
you look at the respiratory system, the digestive system, and the kidneys and urinary tract, they're
Okay.
all impacted by the vagus nerve. And,
Right.
we talk about like getting better vagal tone and being able to go
Right.
rest and repair. And, we look at it in general. We're here, we're doing like a spot inspection in different aspects. Like because you have the sides of your neck and then it goes down heart, respiratory, digestive, urinary. And so you
Right.
might
Right.
be shifting into like a better form of vagal tone, but only in some of the areas. Like you're only able to shift as much as the worst part of wherever the most tension is, like what that shifts. Like, the other areas they hit it, but it doesn't hit it like if you go like piece by piece by piece by piece. And so,
Okay.
like in a little while, I'm gonna break it down. You know how we use oils to go into vagal tone? I'm
Yeah.
going to break down and have like a little chart where you go. I'm in the process of making it, where it's like it's the sides of the neck, it's the one that hits the heart, it's the one that hits the respiratory tract,
Oh, okay.
the digestive, and then the urinary tract. So then, even as you kind of play with different oils, you can go like, oh well, we're kind of doing it here, but like if we just take like vagal tone and go, if I expand on vagal tone and I put it under the microscope and I look at these different pieces, because you are not just treating your body, you are treating your emotions and you're also treating like thought processes. And so, by making these areas feel better, your body functions better, and you
Hmm.
go into a deeper kind of repair mode. But also you'll notice emotions are like a little bit more regulated or lighter, or sometimes they just will feel heavy. Not even necessarily like, oh, this thing with this person. It's just like, ugh. You're feels like you're just in like a your energy body's like molasses or something, it's just a
Yeah.
little thicker and
Yeah.
heavier than normal. And,
Right.
if you said, is anything going on? No, but like you just kind of feel it. And a lot of times that's just a biological thing. It's your body's either shedding some of the stress or is in sort of a stress. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a medical condition, but it's just, your body can get the blahs and just, ugh,
Sure. Sure.
because really a lot of times what we're talking about is, you say stresses, but you're also talking about like traumas, and not trauma like this person yelled at me, or something happened. It's really what your nervous system had to do to get through some difficult event. I mean, that's really what a trauma is. It shifted your perception, it made you go past your threshold, it made you do something where maybe you felt in danger, or there was conflict, or there was some sort of harm that was happening or might happen. And so your nervous system has to go through and like get through this situation. It's we're trying to survive it the best that we can. And over a period of time, your nervous system makes these adjustments, and then you get through it, and then the nervous system just goes, that's just the way we are. And so, that story where I talk about like the shoulder goes up and then your head's like this, and then part of you goes, okay, I gotta keep my eyes where I'm
Compensate.
going, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
stuff like that, but in the body that you have no idea is happening. Like there's these weird compensations, there's these weird tensions that arise. And how we talk about intellect is always in repetition, right? And
Yeah.
it's maintaining something, but it's doing repetition. And in the body, that idea of intellect is homeostasis. It maintains things. It runs things in a cycle. It is doing repetition and it's maintaining it. Well, another way of like if you put that under the microscope and going deeper into the body, your nervous system creates these like loops in your body. And it's how like a part of your body becomes more rigid, or even how a person becomes more rigid, is there's just all these like loops that are firing off.
Sure.
And we're always generating those loops. I mean, it's part of homeostasis, it's part of the intellect. We're never going to get rid of the loops. But you can say, what kind of information do I want in the loops? Do I want trauma? Do I want my lower nature? Do I want those things that I can't get rid of that drive me nuts? Or do I want a sense of peace, a sense of well-being? Of course, we want peace and well-being, and or even our higher aspects. Part of bringing it into the body is so it has provided the information for those loops to be then firing in the body that affects the emotions and the mind. And so this brings into the idea of, your body, your nervous system has the ability to shift or change, which is neuroplasticity. And then how do we break out of the loops? Like, or break out of them. A better way of saying it is like, how do we reboot them? Like, how do we kind of clean the slate and put something different in those loops instead
Hmm.
of saying like, I'm in pain. The world is chaotic. This sucks, that sucks. It's like I'm good, I'm safe, I'm healing, I'm guided, whatever things that you would like to put there. And again, it's like on the unconscious. It's not something that we consciously think out. It's it's an impression that happens on the nervous system. And so that idea of putting your awareness on your body and observing it is how you start to break out of those loops and how you allow the body to shift and change. And it is a way in that quietness is it's the idea of mantra. It's the idea of like holy
Oh,
words
okay.
or holy names. It's it's to provide like information or energy for those loops, right? So even when you put your awareness on your body and you go Om Rama Om, Om Rama Om, Om Rama Om, to your intellect, that's just like, oh, it's Om and it's Rama or Om Mani Padme Hum. It's interesting words, but that energy goes into those loops and then it starts affecting those loops, right? So
Right.
then,
Okay.
even after you step away, your body is like going, Om Rama Om, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And the body will start healing at a much faster rate because it has different information in those loops. And so, like when we go through and we do these systems, we're looking at it from the point of view of function. We're not really looking at symptoms, although some of them are things that you would go deeper on, but we're really just trying to help the system function in a better way. And in doing so, you're really starting to shift how that system functions because you're releasing like the stress or some of that input in those loops, and you're helping that piece of your physiology like shift. And so when we go one by one by one by one, as you go through the whole body, you're kind of shifting it into a different direction. Then
Okay.
it makes anything that you need to do later, it makes it more effective and like it works faster or more efficiently or has a deeper effect, some version of that.
Okay. So it's a bit of a detox then in a
Yeah, like
way,
an
right?
energy detox. Yeah,
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 it's an
yeah,
energy, and it
yeah.
can kind of, you know, what, I've been on this med now, and I've kind of scaled back the dosage, and I'm still in the weight loss thing kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So is there stuff that's still kind of that's stored in the body? Because what I felt is for a while there when I was first starting this or just coming back through this, the emotions were like off the scale kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's
And
that that
it just kept
particular,
coming and
yeah,
flowing, and then kind of like it's kind of settling out. So you just keep processing that, or it's,
yeah.
just stored up and
The,
just coming
that
out, or
medication kind of impacts the nervous system of the gut.
yeah,
And, because part of it is, you know, like you said, like weight loss and things, like the faster the food passes through the digestive tract, you're not necessarily going to take on as much, like the more they can get things to go
right.
through. So, um, at least when I look at it, it looks like the food's not being processed like normal. Like it's being like half
Definitely true.
processed. Yeah, like
Definitely
half.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like half
Everything's kind of
processed kind
slowed
of.
down. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
and so because of that, it's like yes, that's producing a physical effect, but you change the physiology, then emotions change, and your emotions get stirred up because the body senses that something's different, or I don't want to
Hmm.
say something's wrong. We'll just say something's different.
Different. Okay.
Yeah. And
Right.
so then the body's like, hey, hey, red alert. And then the emotions start to get stirred up and you're not sure, do I run? Do I fight? Do I
Right.
do I freeze? Like what am I to do? And so then things will even start to arise into the mind. And
Okay. Right.
so, you can always take like if the emotions are getting all wonky, almost always you can go to the body. There's something off in the body. There's just whatever it is, and it doesn't mean like a traumatic event. Yeah, there's a psychological part, there's a mental part, there's an emotional part, but there's still a physiological part. But like here, when, yeah, you have your stresses and yeah, you got, whatever, your past or whatever things going on. But even within all of that, you are functioning well. And then all of a sudden, emotions for no reason just go, hey, something's up in the body. Like somewhere,
Okay.
somehow, something's up. The nervous system's being affected and something's off. And, doesn't necessarily mean a health issue, but something's shifting, something's changing, something's not working like it should. And that still can be a reflection of things in the environment, like bladder and urinary tract issues, low back, things like that can still be like chaos in the environment. And then the body protects the spine, tightens
Mm.
up, and then throws all the organs around that lower spine off because
Wow.
there's so much tension there. And so then, it stays there for a while, but then your body starts to go like, I don't feel safe. So you start feeling fear, you start feeling a little insecurity, so that you start to resolve it, because something's going on in the environment. So your body's trying to tell you, I don't feel safe. It could be the situation is past and is like 3 months old, like long gone, but your body doesn't feel like it's not going to come back. Like it still
Mhm.
feels like something's up. So you have to manually go back and go to, that part of the body. Good baby, nice baby, sweet
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
You're okay. Like, you really have to treat it like you would,
Okay. Yeah.
like uh like you see a dog get wound up about something and
Right.
you
Just
have to
kind of
kind of calm it down.
defuse
Like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really kind of the same idea.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's not conscious, it's not emotions, it's the physiology, and then it's going up the food chain, up the emotional body into the mental body.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even like with the heart, if the heart is having issues, the person usually doesn't have a great sense of well-being. Like,
Mm.
as much as everything could be okay, but if there's a bunch of tension and stress in the heart, in the physical heart, in the cardiovascular system, as much as they're surrounded by loved ones and everything's going good, there's still that I still just don't have that sense of well-being. And you go through and you start unwinding it, and you're like, oh man, I feel better. I feel like everything's good. Life is good because when the heart's not functioning well, the organism feels like there's some sort of threat. Like, don't let your guard down, something's up.
Mm.
And so
Right.
really
Okay.
what you're doing is you're going through the body and you're regulating fight, flight, freeze, but in ways that are not your environment. It's just some things that have been internalized. It's basically not emotional or mental trauma, but the trauma and how it's affected the nervous system is really what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody has trauma in their life. We might not go, oh, that was traumatic, but you have crazy traffic getting somewhere and something happens and you don't meet a deadline at work and there was a weird argument at Thanksgiving with the family, and all of
Yeah.
that is imprinted on the nervous system. The
Right.
nervous system had to get through it, and then it gets stuck in different systems, and then there you
Yeah.
go.
And then, yeah. And then it kind of
Yeah,
just unwinds or try to unwind it kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah.
It's good to be back, man.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Yeah. Good to be back.
Someone else shared feeling a lot of gratitude.
Oh,
Lovely.
good.
Thanks.
Very good.
And what it made me think of was, when I'm super stressed and I get so tired, and then when something happens and the stress just kind of goes away, my energy levels
Mhm.
get strong.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like.
You're more animated right now, by the way. Yeah. I mean, you were animated all day, but like, like today we just had a lot of deadlines. They had like bam, 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 and Samantha's the one that kind of holds things together in all the different ways, um, and come the end of the day, and it's like, ugh, like I'm ready for a nap or stare out the window for a little while, and so because you kind of work hard through the day, and you look like you did this morning.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like you had rest and you're like, put me in, coach.
Yeah.
Like, put me in.
That's what it feels like.
Right. Yeah. You know how some days at the end of the day you're like, take me out, coach. I think I pulled a hamstring. Need to sit on the bench for a while. Everybody has them. But anyway.
Hmm.
Usually, kind of like what you're saying, is by doing these processes with the healing the different systems, you'll notice that your energy levels go up, your cognitive abilities, your cognitive function goes up, the emotions feel better, feel a bit more regulated. And I notice for myself, like I'm getting stuff, I'm getting more things done, because I'm doing these processes with you guys. I've done them for a while, but like when you guys do them, I'm like, well, I want to do them, so after the class I'll do them. And then I'm getting more things done and I'm not in my head. Where you're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Oh, I wish I didn't have to do that. Like all of that's gone. I just start doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff to the point where, when I stop, I realize like, whoa, I've been really pushing. I'm kind of tired. But when you're doing it, you don't really notice it. It's kind of similar to like what happens with people who like exercise a lot and they talk about the runner's high. If you've ever experienced that, it's like you're pushing, you're doing whatever, and all of a sudden it's just like you're floating. Like everything just goes quiet. And it just things are moving in ways that are just so easy. You're so just going with the flow. And then you step out of it and you go, well, that was nice. And everybody was like, man, what got into you? Like you were just floating. But to everybody else, they were pushing really hard. And the more that you can get out of the intellect, even in the workplace, even when you're doing things and you're just in the flow, you are able to resolve and learn, problem solve, get things done, adjust, adapt, and you really don't realize how much you're doing until you step back and you go, man, I rocked it today, you know? And it could be the garden, it could be work, it could be in a relationship, it doesn't always have to be like work stuff, it could be your writing. You were playing with the grandkids or whatever that might be. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna. Nobody else has a question. Let's maybe do a little squeeze in here. I'm gonna say, let's jump up to allergies on page 3. And remember, this isn't necessarily a target for the symptoms. You're treating this potential within the system. So you're trying to take a certain kind of attention or stress or effective trauma out of the immune system here so that it functions more appropriately, right? So it's not just about symptoms, right? We're improving the function. Okay, so you have either of the blue tansies, caraway, clove, Greenland moss, helichrysum, neoli, and then orange healer, opodeldoc, or allergy support. So pick one. Whichever one you pick, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the lungs. Nice, long, slow, deep breath with your awareness on the lungs. You're on the lungs. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then your liver. Your awareness is on your liver, right side of your body below the ribs. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your liver, right side of your body below your ribs. And then the gallbladder. So you're going to your midline, so the middle of your body, going to 2 inches to the right, below your ribs. So midline, 2 inches to the right, below your ribs. Your kidneys. Your awareness is on your kidneys. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Awareness on the kidneys. And then your spleen, left side of your body below the ribs. And then just be still. Notice how you feel, your body. We have time for maybe just like one little tiny share if somebody wants to. We have just a couple minutes before we got to jump over to the mystic practice.
Someone said that felt really good.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was me, Greg. It's Barbara.
Yeah, that felt good.
Really good. I used the
Yeah.
dark blue tansy and my lungs came alive.
Oh, good.
My liver
Yeah.
got happy and I could feel yeah, it was just
Yeah.
it seemed to be just what I needed. So thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, like if it made you feel kind of good, I'd just do it for a few days. It's not a forever thing, but just from time to time, pick up the bottle. Like, sometimes, how, well, at least for me, like I'll sit down at the end of the day and I'll like, I got 20 minutes. What am I going to do? This could be something where you just pull out even a little piece out of one of these segments and just do it. And, you know, they usually make you feel pretty darn good. Yeah. So, okay, you guys. Well, hopefully, I see we're going to do the next version of this, which is nervous system, muscular system, and skin, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And so I think a flyer went out tonight, right?
Yes.
So there's a flyer that goes out and gives you the list of oils for you to start kind of gathering up in your kits and everything. And, you know, it's going to be nice, you know, especially the nervous system being a big one. Muscular system too, but boy, the nervous system's a big one. So join us if you can. So, and I think some of you we see at the old psychic self-defense class. What was it? Psychic protection.
Psychic protection.
Yeah. Yeah. So at 2.0 version. So it'll be fun. Just basic mechanics of protection. So it's a good one.